Dragon Ball Daima Episode 1 is in the books, or rather, on the screen. And how I'm going to do this review is, there's a few points that I just want to get out, and then I'm going to just let them out. Another thing is, stay tuned, because tomorrow, or even the day after, I will be posting an Easter eggs video. So all the Easter eggs and references from this episode 1, I'm going to put them in a video, compiling them all, and then, yeah, I'm going to be doing that every week. It's probably going to be a review video every arc, maybe. I don't want to do a review video because everyone's got review videos. It's like, no. But I will, unless this one gets views. That's the only saving grace. But I will be doing Easter egg videos / reference videos every single week. So look forward to that. Now let's get into the review for episode 1 of Dragon Ball Daima. A landmark episode. Toriyama's last project. Landmark episode, landmark airing. A lot of these scenes look beautiful. Number one, I wanted to point out, so let me stop BSing. Let me point out one thing. So Dagesu, the freaking Kaioshin from the Demon Realm, makes a reference pointing out how Shenlong or Shenron looks different to Porunga, right? But what's strange is that he knows about Porunga. He knows how Porunga looks, and he even knows about him. But he's shocked to find out that Earth's dragon can also grant 3 wishes. I mean, if you're under the impression that you already know Porunga, wouldn't that just be normal? Like, back in the Namek arc, like when Gohan and Krillin had found out that Porunga could grant 3 wishes, they were shocked because they're so used to 1. So it's just weird to me that he's like, oh, he can grant 3 wishes? But that's small potatoes. I just noticed that. It's all the stuff that I noticed. I just wanted to point that out. And a lot of this stuff, like a lot of the animation, here's the next thing I wanted to point out is like the animation. Obviously, you're going to hear everyone jerking it off, but I just wanted to point out one thing. I made a video around, well, first off, let me set it up. It all looks great, okay? But Dragon Ball digital animation for the past, decade or so? Over a decade at this point, almost 20 years. It's looked janky, a bit wonky almost all the time, like especially with Dragon Ball Super. A lot of it, even when the stuff would be on model, there would be something that's just a bit off about it, you know? And especially with the dull tones, Forgotten Relics made a good video on it, like the dull tones, all this stuff going on. It just looked a bit wonky, you know what I'm saying? But with the high contrasting colors matched with great art and animation, bro, everything in this episode looked beautiful, especially the Buu Arc portions, like especially those portions. They looked freaking sick. And then another thing I noticed was the Tamagami. So this one, if you were under the impression that Dragon Ball Daima was going to be GT 2.0, this Tamagami's thing, right? So everyone knew that they were protecting the Dragon Balls. To put it like this, they're not the evil dragons, and that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they protect the Dragon Balls, and there's a reason for this that I'll get to in a bit. They protect the Dragon Balls because the Namekian who made the Neba, the one who made them, had made the Tamagamis as well to protect the Dragon Balls. And I wonder if the reason he made this ties into the minus energy concept that was brought in GT. So for y'all who didn't know, in GT, the minus energy of the Dragon Balls is built up because of all the constant amount of wishes made on the Dragon Balls. So that's the whole concept of GT. I wonder if he made the Tamagamis because of that reason. You know what I'm saying? So they protect the Dragon Balls. It's almost like the evil dragons from GT, you know, protecting the Dragon Balls with the Dragon Balls in their head and stuff like that. But it's not 100% like that, at least as of right now. But that's something I just wanted to point out. That's really cool. And so I actually got a little ahead of myself. That was way later in the episode. But another comparison to GT you can make is Goma, when he decides to turn them young, is like the equivalent of GT when Pilaf turned them young. So in this scenario, Goma would be Pilaf, Dagesu would be Shu or Soba, and I guess Dr. Arinsu could be Mai, you know, like in that kind of scenario. But then what would Neba be? Neba. What would he be? Yeah. What would he be, honestly? Another thing I really liked about this episode is at Trunks' party, the Muten Roshi Kame Sennin, or Master Roshi in the English dub, he's sitting with Gyumao. Like every friend pairing that you would see in Dragon Ball, they're sitting with each other. And the thing about this one, with him sitting with Gyumao, it makes so much sense because he trained Gyumao. if you didn't see Dragon Ball, if you're not familiar with the earlier parts of Dragon Ball, it's revealed that Namuten Roshi did train Gyumao. So I like this attention to detail. Really freaking nice attention to detail. That's one thing I paid attention to. I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. So yeah, I really like that as well. One thing that I was a bit annoying was how Goku mentions how Saiyans have growth spurts around the age of 15. This is a bit annoying, and here's why. Because Gohan had a ridiculous growth spurt while training with Goku in the Room of Spirit and Time, known as the Hyperbolic Time Chamber in the dub. And he was only around like 11 years old, so close in age with Trunks, right? Not only that, but in the Trunks special that Akira Toriyama made during the manga serialization that he drew for the manga, future Trunks in that special was already pretty tall. Like he looked normal aged. So none of this he was not only that, but future Trunks in that special was around 14 years old, because 3 years later he'd be 17. So he's already around 15 years old, but he's not 15 yet. Goku had his huge growth spurt, according to himself, when he was around 15, right? And even Kuririn mentions, he was like, oh yeah, that did happen to you, didn't it? So, but how would Kuririn notice? Like Goku was training with Kami at the time. I guess if you don't see a guy, you're like, okay, yeah, you did grow up during that portion. But so that's not a big issue, but that whole sequence it's just like, why? It's almost unnecessary. And I get it why they're trying to do it, to erase the issues that happened with them like being kids. They even did it in the Super movie, but it's like, really? What is funny, though, is that Goku makes fun of Vegeta for being short, and Trunks also makes fun of Kuririn or Krillin for being short. And they both had comebacks to both. It was funny. It was a pretty funny sequence. Another thing I wanted to point out is how the Namekians are originally from the demon realm. Degesu points it out, and then he points it out to Dende, right, by saying, your ears are pointy. And in the same shot, I'm looking at Mr. Popo, and he's right there behind Dende with pointy ears. And now I'm starting to wonder, like, is Mr. Popo also from the demon realm? Like, what is he and where is he from? Because he mentions his ears are pointy. I'm like, why is that the only distinguishing factor? It's so weird. It's just strange. It's funny to me. So I'm starting the conspiracy theory right now. They got this episode's title Conspiracy, but I'm starting a new conspiracy. Mr. Popo is from the demon realm, and maybe those abridged episodes had something. Maybe they were on to something. Who knows? And then here's the final thing I want to point out. So the last tidbit of the episode, the dragon Shenrong comes out, and he grants the wish while the theme music is playing and everyone's being turned into a kid. But one thing I want to dive into is for next week. So a little preview for next week. So he grants one wish, and they already established that he can grant 3. So if this is a thing where he grants this one wish and just dips out of there, it's going to be pretty annoying, because they already established he can grant 3. They have like 2 at the very least wishes in mind to get granted. So if they only have Shenlong come out there and grant one wish and then leave, that's going to be pretty annoying. So if this happens in week 2 where he just leaves after the first wish on some BS, you better be picking up the phone, because I called it. And if it doesn't, well, I also called it because I pointed it out. So yeah, that's the review. Stay tuned for tomorrow or the day after for the Easter egg / reference video that I got coming. I only want to do this review for episode 1 because it's a landmark episode. I might do it for episode 2. But if I do these reviews, I want to do them for the arcs. Other than that, I got nothing else to say. Stay tuned to the channel, because I got the second part of the interview I did with Geekdom 101 coming to the channel, and the more rating series for Dragon Ball Super is coming out, and then the the Easter eggs video. So stay tuned for that. All right, see y'all in the next one.